Señor Cooler!
There shouldn't be much more here. The most disturbing cutscene ever. They added a new side quest in this game. The only way you'll notice this is, and you don't even, I don't think even the bombers tell you about this, or the Sheikah stone, or whatever it is, that the walkthrough stone. If you're looking closely at your bomber's notebook, at all the seals that you have for everyone, and whose quests you've completed and whose quests you haven't, the last thing that you'll notice is that even after you've completed what you thought was every Gorman brother, or every quest for Gorman, there's one more. And you don't have his seal, and you don't have the seal for his brothers either. And so I'm going, what's going on here? So this one I had to look up on the internet. I tried not to use any walkthrough at all. But they had such a drastic change in this. I can't believe what happens in here. I can't believe what I'm looking at. It can't be just because I have a dirty mind, especially in the way they frame this. I'll try to show you a video. I'll try to record I don't have I don't have like recording software to record from the DS, so I may just like record the actual cutscenes, but I'm going to record this and show you what the scene is like. It's unbelievable. So you'll find Gorman up here, passed out, basically having this massive hangover from his sessions at the milk bar the other day. Your brother's special milk? Now, I want you to watch this closely. Not that. Speak! I'm pressing... Oh. How's he gonna do this? Oh. Oh! What? Oh! What's he doing? I'm not seeing you pick up anything. You're just putting the milk bottle to your crotch. Oh God. Oh God! What's happening? Oh, he looks like he can barely stand from that. Let's see if we can use this. We have no idea what's in that stuff. If you drink that milk, I'm ending this friendship. Okay, now here's the kicker. Use the Goron mask. It'll spill. Why would that spill over and make a big mess if it's like, flying with that mystery? Okay, this looks like a job for the bunny hood. What is even happening here? What is in that? There's no other item in the game that's like that, is like that. There's no other item that, like, Taylor goes, seriously? What the hell? So, did you see what I just saw? Is the implication here that... I don't even want to say it. No, I don't want to say it, but, like... Did he just masturbate into one of my milk bottles? Is his special milk that... Do I just have, like, this really sick... But, like, he put it up to his crotch, and it's special milk, and it's disgusting and everything. Nobody else makes milk like this. And it gives me a fishing hole pass. So now I'm going to show you what happens when you don't, get it in time. And the kind of reaction that Tato has is just unbelievable. Every part of me is just going, there's no way Nintendo would include this in a game. But my eyes and my brain just can't believe that this is anything else. His brother's special milk? Oh, what does that even... Like, he's now in the city, and, like, he's away from his family, and he's away from all the comforts of brotherly incest that have... oh, God, what... But he puts it up to his crotch and makes weird noises and everything. Like, I know he says that he, like, has, like, puts, like, some special herbs and roots in it, but herbs and roots aren't milk, right? Herbs and roots are not milk. So where did the milk come from? I didn't see a cow. No, there was no cow. He didn't go into his own, like, into their stock of milk they got from their cows, right? So now here's what happens when you try to buy the regular milk from them. Oh, ours is the real deal. It's fresh and full of vitamins. I just... What? How... Where... Calm down! Let me concentrate! No. No. Tittle said, like, what kind of milk would end friendships? That kind of milk, right? This can't be just me with a dirty mind. I'm not seeing how this can be anything else. Where did, like, if he got that from, like, no matter, like, this is, like, originally, this is how you get the 7th bottle, I think. Yeah, there's 7 bottles, like, 6 wasn't enough in this game. Like, I read online, apparently, like, you can't even sell it to the curiosity shop or anything. Walk carefully. Like, I don't have a good seal on the bottle, or there's, like, if it, like, I'm guessing if you, like, spill, like, some, like, green potion or red potion around, or blue potion, or, like, I know that, like, spilled milk spoils and, like, smells bad. Like, but how come, like, what makes this milk so special that that if it were spilled uniquely, it would do bad things? Like, what? I don't even know. Oh man, it's warning me. It's going, you don't have long. Really, you do not want to be stuck with this stuff. Yeah! Oh god! What the? Something seriously stinks. I hate to say it, but nobody in their right mind would accept that stuff anymore. The mystery milk turned to moldy milk in 2 hours. And so you try to use it and Tail goes, that's it. I am absolutely sick of us carrying that milk around. Use that one song of yours to rewind time and make it as we never had it to begin with. Please, I beg you. You can't just dump it out onto the ground like it's fresh water. Please, just go back in time. I don't want to even think of this ever happening. I don't want to. No. Like, Tatel's like in denial, like, I am praying that this never, ever happened. Go back in time. Like, of all the things I've done, of all the mistakes I've made, this is the one thing where she goes, you need to go back in time. Do not, like, you can't take it out of the bottle. And by the way, you can't be a Goron when you have the moldy milk. You cannot be a Goron. So it, like, if you're, like, in the middle of doing stuff in, like, in, like, Snowhead, like, you're trying to beat a temple or you're trying to get the gold dust, you don't have a chance of getting it in this time cycle. So you literally cannot transform into a Goron or fly, like, can you fly? Let's see. You cannot fly, and you cannot turn into a Goron while you have this. While you have moldy milk. While you have the Gorman brothers' crusty, old, completely spoiled semen in a bottle. You can't... You cannot do anything. The game's, like broken until you... Like this time cycle, it's just gone. You just, like, you can't fly anywhere and you can't be a Goron. If you're trying to do Snowhead stuff, you don't have a chance. You don't have anything. I don't even know. Why would they do this? What is this even? What? What? I don't even know, man. It can't be just it can't just be I have a dirty mind. I want to think I'm crazy because I want to believe that did not just happen. I'm pretty sure it did just happen though. But that aside, that disturbing scar your life scenario that maybe is just there's no way it could be anything else other than that. I don't even know how they got it past the censors. I don't even know why no one else is talking about this. This is really disturbing. But yeah, aside from that, One of the biggest changes is the addition of fishing holes. Much like the one in Ocarina of Time. There's one in the swamp, and there's one in the Great Bay area, over by the fisherman's hut and the spider house. And so yeah, a lot of times when you're doing quests or redoing quests that you've already done, you'll get these free fishing hole passes, which is just free ticket to go play at the fishing hole. And like they don't fade with time. You just keep collecting them. They don't fade when you play the Song of Time. And I know that as a new feature in the game that I should have played them more and given them more of a chance. But really, there's almost no point at all to playing these. Other than just for kicks, other than just to say you collected each of the different types of fish. And they have invented a whole bunch of different types of fish. Some of them only appear in certain days, some of them only appear in certain fishing holes, some of them only appear in certain spots of the fishing holes, some of them only appear with certain masks, some of them only appear if certain items are in your inventory. And they're all very creative, and there's no benefit to catching them at all, other than just saying you caught them all. There are no pieces of heart or masks associated with these. There is no reward for catching them all. There's no reward for catching certain rare ones. You just catch them, and that's kind of it. Maybe you get some rubies, but you don't need rubies. And so I played it once, didn't care, and didn't play again. If you want a welcome distraction, if you want to really go for the whole completionist playthrough of it, I guess it adds a lot more to the gameplay and it adds a lot more to the time. But really, the fishing minigame is not that exciting, is not that... I will never understand why they insist on having fishing in these Zelda games, especially Twilight Princess, where it was especially annoying and especially unnecessary. Almost every game has had fishing in some context or another. Even Link's Awakening had it, and then Ocarina of Time, now Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess. And it's never really been a really worthwhile or noteworthy addition to the game. It's just kind of been a distraction, and not even a really good one either. Georg! That's for you, Brian. They changed all of the boss fights. Oh, right, I drank it. They changed all of the boss fights to make them tougher, and goofier. Each of the bosses has this cancerous growth of Majora's Mask eye on them, and it looks silly, out of place, and stupid. And like when you keep hitting the eye, it keeps growing like some sort of inflatable circus balloon. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why did they do this? Why would they need this? I guess maybe it's to tie it in more closely with the idea, like it's to tie the bosses in more closely with the power of the mask. And each of the bosses, by the way, the four main bosses, have different boss tactics to them. They've all changed in some minor way. Oldol uses his shield a lot more. Goat, I believe is how it's pronounced, but whatever. When you run him down with the Gorman mask, or you hit him with the fire arrows, he collapses, and then like you have to actually get off of the Gorman mask and start shooting it with fire arrows, or start hitting the magical growing Majora's Mask eyeball. You have to hit it with your sword or shoot it with arrows, and which requires you getting out of the Gorman mask. Georg also... I'm starting to lose my voice. I've been talking so much about this game. Georg has the biggest changes of all the bosses. I don't remember if this was how in the original, but he is... because in the original, I just grabbed the Zora mask down to Chateau Romani and use my infinite magic to just kind of swim alongside him and just keep zapping him till he dies. And if he releases a bunch of fish, I just keep zapping him till he dies. That doesn't work at all anymore in here. The main tactic that has worked for me, or the first phase, is that you're on the platform and he's just kind of floating around, and you shoot him with an ice arrow, and it just directly damages him. And then like sometimes he'll pop up on the platform, and then if you don't damage him really quickly with a sword spin or an arrow, he's just going to charge forward and just kind of hit you. And then he will actually crush the platform so you can't stand on it anymore, and you have to be in the Zora mask. And so while you're in the Zora mask and you're swimming along, he starts inhaling water and inhaling you, and then he eventually sucks you in, and then starts chewing you, and then he spits you out. And no, the Zora electricity does not work when he's doing that at all. But sometimes when he's doing that, there's a brief moment where you can start swimming, and he'll start swimming, and then while you're both swimming, you can sometimes run into him and zap him with the Zora electricity. I tried that, and it took forever to get anywhere with him doing that. The real tactic that you need to do is, when you're down underwater, you'll notice a bunch of chains, exploding spike balls on chains emerging from the floor and start floating up. And so they're like tied with like this little jewel on the chain. And so what you do as a Zora is you swim and you use your electricity to zap the jewel, and then it unleashes the spike ball. And then you do that when he's sucking, when he's like inhaling and trying to suck you in, and then he'll suck in the spike ball instead. It will explode in his mouth. Again, not going to say that too often. And then his Majora eye will start showing up, and then you can start zapping that and killing him that way. Twin Mold was fascinating in what they changed and didn't change. The Giant's Mask is no longer shows up when you kill an Igor, the second Igor. And by the way, the Igors have always been this really cool design, and there's only 2 of them ever in any Zelda game, and there are only 2 of them in that dungeon. And it's a really cool and creative design. Kind of like a walking Beamos monster. They're like on par with the Iron Knuckles. And if you don't play Zelda, you have no idea what I was just talking about, of course. So with Twin Molds, the two twin snakes are flying around, and they both have different weak spots. One of them is just his tail, and one of them has a bunch of Majora's eyes on his underbelly. His or her, I don't know what their sex is, but... And so you start shooting those with arrows, and then once one of them goes down, they die, and you get the Giant's Mask from a treasure chest that pops up. And then you use the Giant's... And then you either kill the other one as normal Link, or you use the Giant's Mask to grow large and then kill them. What is fascinating, however, not only is the fact that you only use the Giant's Mask on one of them, or maybe if you replay it, if you replay the dungeon, you can use it on both. But when you use the Giant's Mask, you can no longer use your sword. You are, in fact, just kind of this... You are just a giant, and you are able to kill Twin Mold with your bare hands. And like, when he's running across you can just punch him. And using this very awkward punching animation, but it's still cool. And then you're punching a giant Twin Mold in the sky. And then, like, they'll spawn, like, little baby Twin Molds. And then you could do the standard A button, roll forward. And then as you're rolling forward, your giant feet smash the bugs, and when you hit Twin Bolt enough times, it will drop on the floor, and then you can either basically do a wrestling move on him. If you grab the head, you basically just get it into a choke lock and you choke it, and then you hurt it. But that doesn't work because that doesn't get the Majora's Mask eye out. What you instead have to do is you have to grab it by the tail, spin it, do a whole dragon spin or whatever it's called, and you spin it around and then you slam it, and then as you use the tail and you slam it down, out from the head pops the Majora's eye, which you can then damage. Oh, that was a really exciting way to end the boss fights. I highly recommend you pick up Majora's Mask for the 3DS, especially if you're an old fan, especially if you were originally turned off by the whole time management and the speed run aspect of it, especially if you're turned off in any way by this game. They really worked hard to try to make it more accessible, while still keeping all the integrity that the original fans really like about the original. And I was really not thinking that they would do a good job with this. But aside from some of the more questionable issues, like the Zora mask, like the Gorman side quest, they really did a solid job on this game. I highly recommend this. And I highly recommend the 3DS in general. There are a lot of really good games for the system. If you don't have one yet, it's at the point where you're missing out. They just keep having hit after hit after hit. And when it was originally starting out, I kind of begrudged the idea of using remakes as a system seller. They really have let brand new games come into the limelight and really take over. Next time, this isn't the type of format that I normally intend on going with. It's certainly a lot longer to have me just keep talking and ranting about games I like and games I don't like. But next time will definitely be a more scripted experience. I've been planning to do that one forever, but this one just kind of showed up around the same time that I was planning on doing the main event, so to speak. And I just thought, if I'm starting out, I might as well start out with Majora's Mask, and that's why I called this episode 0, because it wasn't really intended to be the start. But on the other hand, I didn't. If the timing of it, I just didn't feel like I wanted to start without it. So, and I just didn't want to do a full scripted thing. I want to do that later. So I just wanted to just kind of let loose with the game and tell you about it. And I just didn't want to. I'm not at the point where I want to. Again, I'm new to this, so I'm not at the point where I would want to, where I'd want to dedicate a script or make a plan for Majora's Mask, because I want to wait till I really start to hone my skills and to really settle into a really decent pattern and become more comfortable and more used to doing full video reviews for me to be able to do the Zelda series justice. But yeah, be sure to join me next time. I hope you'll like it. I'm real fascinated with how the project's turning out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.